Welcome back to another episode of High Minded with McCarter, featuring my co-host SK.
SK.
She's in the house. Oh my gosh.
Trying to change up the hey.
Yeah,
hey.
we try to change stuff up, but sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah, what up, high-minded crew?
Hell yeah.
Here.
We're here. We're chilling. We're back with another episode. This is episode 17.
17.
Wow, craziness. I'm super happy to be getting this far, and journey continues. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, and this was a really cool episode too. It was our first one with a baby on the mic.
First baby was in the studio for the whole episode. Let me just tell you, we didn't smoke this time with the baby there, obviously.
Yeah, we have a little bit of respect for the babies out there, It's
Yeah.
wait until they're 18 plus to start secondhand smoking.
Yes.
Babies.
But we brought on my good friends and mentors, fellow partners, John and Alison Shute. They are amazing. John came on episode 9, if you remember or got to catch that episode. So we bring on him and his wife and his adorable baby, Willow, to talk about cannabis and parenting.
Yeah, it was so cool to talk about this topic in general, and they were both amazing. So.
They're just the most epic people, I look up to them so much. Allison is a badass lawyer, and she's starting her own firm in Denver soon. And then John owns Puff Creative, the agency that built our website, and are some of our amazing partners that help us with website advertising, SEO, all types of stuff. So if you need that type of help, please check them out at puffcreative.com. And yeah, this episode was so great. I didn't even know anything. I've seen stuff online about cannabis and parenting, but obviously you and I are not parents.
Yeah, not yet, if ever.
Yes.
And yeah, it was really, they're just so inspirational. Their work-life balance is
I don't know how they do
awesome. Yeah, they just going to shows, going snowboarding with the baby, not with going to shows with the baby, not snowboarding yet with the baby.
They basically just are advocates and kind of show, or examples rather, that you can still have your regular life that you were doing before and be a dope-ass parent.
Yeah.
And it's just about communication, obviously, compromise. They both, they have their own businesses and they can work from home right now. So I think that is a big plus. It'd be super hard to do what they do and be in corporate or something like that. But, you can make it work. No matter what your situation is, they take turns consuming, outside while one of them has the baby inside so that there's no, like we said, secondhand smoke. They're leaning into edibles. They talk about that more. And just how to be a good parent and still consume cannabis sometimes or other plant medicines.
Yeah, totally. It was the partnership between them is palpable. They're just really a family. And it was really awesome to have the whole family in the studio.
And Willow's so adorable.
Yeah, she's crawling around, doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, playing with our feet while we were recording, and then had this coaster in her mouth and was playing with John's keys.
Yeah, so you will hear a little bit of that in the episode, but
please don't mind the baby
totally
cuckooing and making random noises and play sounds in the background. I think it's adorable, and I don't think she really affected the recording that much.
Yeah, I don't think y'all will notice too much, but there will be a couple cooing noises and this sort of thing. And
it's so funny.
She's so well behaved. What an adorable baby.
Yeah, but yeah, they've taken her to Fish concerts. They're big into the Fish community, and they used to do a lot of psychedelics and stuff. So they just really show that even if you were even a partier early on, I do just feel once you have a child, it kind of changes your mentality. You don't even want to get super fucked up anymore.
Yeah, and I really appreciated John talking about his, alcohol cessation since the pregnancy and that sort of stuff.
Especially because you and I, obviously, we have had our issues with alcohol, and you no longer drink any alcohol, and I'm trying to get into the moderation
Yeah. I tried the moderation thing for a while. Unfortunately for myself, it did not work. But that's okay because
you found that out, and everyone's different. Like
the journey is a journey. For sure. And I really appreciated John talking about his journey with it. So
yeah,
and parenting is
he's such a good husband for being sober. Like while she was pregnant too, like he basically stopped drinking like a month or two into Allison's pregnancy, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, if I'm ever in that situation, I hope that my partner will do the same. Like, we're in this together, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Don't make me carry this baby and you get to keep drinking. It's not fair.
Oh, they just have such an amazing dynamic and are such a good example of how you can still enjoy cannabis and other plant medicines and still be a badass business owner, successful business owner, and an amazing parent and person.
Yeah, totally. Just
great people.
Balance. It's amazing. Yeah. They were really inspirational. And I don't say that a lot about humans, but they truly were.
Such a good episode. Oh, and I think that's our first time having a couple, like a married couple.
Okay, nice.
This was a lot of firsts. First baby, first time not really. I mean, we did hit our vape pen a little bit and just blow it out the window with Willow in the other room. But we weren't super consuming this episode, which was kind of nice too.
Yeah, clarity a little bit.
Some great clarity.
It gave me a lot of clarity about the future and
we
parenting.
hope it brings you clarity about parenting in the future.
Yeah, and if you have any questions that we didn't get to with them, we are hoping to have them back, so please send us those.
Oh, yeah.
It was a first having parents, but it will not be the last time you hear from Allison and John.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like even when we ended the interview, I was like, that felt like just the tip of the iceberg. Like, I want to have you guys back on like every 2 months.
Yeah, and I think that it left me with a lot of stuff I want to research. So we'll be coming at you with science next time, too.
Science. So. Yeah, well, we hope you enjoyed this episode with Alison and John Shute. Shout out again to Puff Creative, John's agency that did our website. They help us so much. Such great people there.
They also have a very informative website. So if you have any questions on like legalization in certain states or...
great point.
Yeah, like their website is a great resource.
Yes. Or if you're trying to build your own website and want to look at just a great website, what
totally.
It looks like.
Like see what the pros are doing with their own websites.
They really know what's up, and they have some amazing clients that we're going to have on the podcast later as well. So good stuff all around. And please remember to like and subscribe and give us that 5-star rating and review. We want to hear what y'all think.
Yeah, follow us at High Minded Pod on Instagram and McCarter at McCarter Gets High.
There you go. McCarter Gets High is my personal Instagram for those of you who don't already know or follow me. It's kind of the reason why I kind of started this whole podcast and what my journey has become.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, enjoy everyone. Thanks again for listening. And as always, stay high. Welcome back, everyone, to High Minded with McCarter podcast. I'm so happy to be here with my co-host, SK.
Hello, hello.
Today we're talking about cannabis and parenting with my good friends, John and Alison Shute, and their beautiful baby, Willow, is also here with us, who is turning 9 months tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love this serendipitous timing. Well, welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
Yay. Well, John has come on once before when it was called McCarter Gets High podcast before we came up with this much better name.
The olden days.
Yes. I really wanted to bring you guys on because, well, one, I look up to both of you. Allison's a badass lawyer, and John has Puff Creative, which they built my amazing website. And check them out if you need any services, marketing, website, SEO, branding, they do it all. Also consume cannabis, among other plant medicines, if I'm at liberty to say.
Yeah.
And you're big music fans, which, you know, we love to go to concerts and, you know, take some plant medicine.
Yeah. I know. I'll just say my first concert was NSYNC and Janet Jackson. I'm like, man, I should microdose and go to like an NSYNC concert.
Yeah.
Oh my
I guess you've
gosh.
been the Backstreet Boys like recently.
Yeah. Yeah, pre-COVID, saw the Backstreet Boys. That was epic. But yeah, plant medicine definitely enhances that.
So, well, first of all, like, has it been weird becoming parents and still, you know, consuming cannabis and trying to have your fun, entertaining lives before like going to concerts and stuff? Like, what's that transition been like?
I guess it's been weird for me. I stopped drinking like in the new year, like before
Hell
we had
yeah.
Willow. So that was like
Nice.
an interesting transition.
Good for you.
And you know, I feel like I don't like party as hard because I stopped drinking. Like I feel like that would lead to me like doing, you know, more drugs than I probably needed to, like in a given night,
Yes.
or like just
so
excessive drinking. And so I've been able to actually really heavily rely on cannabis because it's like helped me balance just like being a dad, being like an entrepreneur, you know,
Yeah.
just everything going on, just like in the crazy world that we live in. But that being said, like we just have to be more strategic about like when we go to concerts and stuff. It's like, all right, like if we're gonna go to a show, like we need to make sure that we have a babysitter and like we're just like, you know, in our, you know, not completely losing our minds or something like that. You
Right.
know? Like I think I've microdosed like 3 times since I've stopped drinking, like and it's all been at live music just to like enhance that experience. And
Yeah.
you know, it didn't impact my life in any way or like make me like a worse parent or anything like that.
Totally.
You know, it's,
Yeah, I think there's a lot more intention behind what we do and when we do it versus
Yes.
when, you know, we were in our 20s and we just had a lot more freedom and we
Yeah.
weren't parents yet.
just kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
It's definitely our favorite
Whatever,
kind of
whenever.
date night is to, you know, smoke a little weed, have a nice meal, go see some live music and dance a little bit, and just really have a great time. So we still do get around to doing that, just not as frequently as pre-baby.
Yeah.
But we do love to share music with Willow as well. And
Yeah,
she's
she
played
went to
some
a
drums
concert.
with John and has started banging on the keys of our piano,
Wow.
which is exciting.
Oh my gosh.
So-
Newest band member.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get
seriously.
ready.
Prodigy. Oh my gosh.
We're just trying to expose her to like, I feel like I wasn't exposed to like these things until I was like older,
Yeah.
you know? And then even with like cannabis, it was like, yeah, I grew up in New Jersey, so it was like this really bad thing
Yeah.
for, you know, forever. Like I got in trouble when I was like 13 and like all of my friends' parents like hated me
Yep.
and like
I've
didn't
been-
want their
yeah.
kids hanging out, like their kids hanging out with me. Where now it's like cannabis is becoming legal in like every single state. Psychedelics are now like on everyone's radar and like starting to become legalized and decriminalized.
There's a lot more research that's getting funded.
Yeah, so it's really really cool. It's interesting to think like what Willow's life's going to be with that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what are you gonna have to rebel with, Willow?
Yeah,
Everything's
yeah.
gonna be legal.
I know.
Like,
Seriously.
appreciate
I know, that's what I was thinking. It's like I feel like I like experimented out of like rebellion almost, and I
Yeah.
feel like that people can easily get wrapped up in like the wrong type of like drugs, like or altering like mind substances, because we're just
Sure.
we're just like those are all bad. We're not actually educated on like what they all are and like the possibilities behind like each one.
Totally.
But yeah, it's like those moments, like I feel like my parents, friends, or like my certain family members are like just so passionate about like bringing me down about cannabis or like what I'm
Yes.
doing. But at the same time, like just look at the numbers. Like there's no point in even talking about this. Like
Yeah, it's
how
like you
many
sound
people-
like a fool.
Yeah, like if you actually just pull up the hard facts of like how many people die per year from tobacco use and from
Right.
alcohol use, and no one dies from just like over excessive weed use. You
Yeah.
know? Don't get me wrong, like, you know, I'm not saying that lab testing's perfectly and everyone has the best products out there. You totally should
Yeah.
look into it.
Right.
But, you know, just like the hard numbers, like,
And then I
It's
feel like
wild.
there's always like the one case a year where it's like kid smokes marijuana, then jumps off of balcony. Like people make the biggest deal about that, but it's like how often does that happen on alcohol?
Yeah.
that there's no headline about because they
or
still
also
want to.
like you have to think about like who wrote that and like did they mention like all the other like pre-existing conditions
Right,
or like drugs that are
totally.
involved or like how much Adderall and like antidepressants was this kid on for him just to jump off
Yeah.
Like if you're just gonna like, there has to be some type of like,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like funny like reading articles too like about cannabis, and like it all depends on like who the writer is and like what the perspective. Even with like corporate cannabis, where it's like certain writers will hype up these like bigger companies and make them out to be like these really great things, but then you find out that like they've been doing some like sketchy stuff with like their vapes or whatever it may be,
or like not doing fully organic practices in their grow, or
and
like
that's what they sell themselves on,
spraying some sketchy shit. Yeah. Oh, it's so frustrating.
All natural, but psych.
Yeah, just kidding. We use some weird pesticides up until week 8 of the grow, but you won't know that.
Yeah.
Right. So, you guys go to a lot of shows. You bring Willow to shows. What does it look like when you're around people that are consuming in a in like a concert area? Do you like take her away from people?
Fortunately, we've been it's all been outdoors, and we did like have a moment at Red Rocks actually where it was like, okay, now everyone's totally. I feel like the band like mentioned something about like sparking up or something.
So that it was everyone.
Or like it was like
a
a big like song that came on, and like you could just see everyone lighting up. So we just like moved where we were. Whereas like if we were inside and like a ticketed event, it'd be like completely different or something like that. Where I mean, people aren't supposed to smoke inside and do things like that, but
when there's not wind. To help.
Fortunately in Colorado though, I think that we probably should have realized this more, but like there's kids at like every single show, so there's like usually like the kids area. Like, even if it's not necessarily like the dedicated
they all
area.
find each other.
Yeah. Like, we're like, oh, there's like a bunch of other like young parents around. Like, let's stay in this area. I really like that. Because it's more like PG.
Have you made any friends?
People get down.
Yeah, the parents. We actually enjoy it a lot.
The kids are having a good time. It's fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we have mostly done outdoor concert experiences, and our philosophy, I guess, is we would never expect anyone to alter the way that they're experiencing the music, or they're hanging out at places like Red Rocks or Planet Bluegrass, some of our iconic Colorado venues. But yeah, we just would kind of scoot like out to the sides or up at the top.
Yeah, we don't want to be those parents that are like, put your joint out.
Yeah.
Or like,
I have a kid right here.
It's like, no, like, we'll adapt.
We'll remove ourselves.
And
we don't want to cause a scene.
Yeah.
People are mindful. And, I do feel like people have a lot of self-awareness at concerts.
I felt like at Red Rocks, it's like people were like so stoked to see Willow there.
They're like
people were like parting ways and like
it.
like
she's
so
like Moses
excited.
in the Red Sea.
That's
it really was like
it
that.
Was like
it
that.
Was very everybody was very considerate, and
move
we
for
kind
the
of
baby.
were expecting sort of like preparing ourselves for the worst.
And even when we got
time.
there, we like showed up kind of like not late to the show, but it was like right before it started, and the parking lot was like packed.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you have to turn around. They're like, oh, is that a baby? They're like,
come on,
go up front. Tell them that Molly sent you. They'll give you the parking right next to the bus.
No way.
It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. We're like, man, should we put like a fake baby in the
baby
thing
on
next
board.
time we come?
Always. So have you thought about how you're going to explain what cannabis actually is when Willow is old enough to like ask or inquire or whatever?
This is something we've started to talk about, and we haven't quite landed on it. And I guess, parenting is just sort of this evolving thing.
Well, it's just a weird time because it's like you try to like when you're a parent, you're like, oh, what did my parents do? But like my parents did the wrong thing. I feel like,
so do the opposite of what they did.
I'm also, it's like there's so many factors I think about with that too. It's like where are we going to be living when she's like able to comprehend that? What is the state of like cannabis and like psychedelics going to be when like we're able to like have that conversation with her, which are I feel like the two most important factors.
Yeah, I think kind of thinking it a lot like alcohol, especially having the privilege of living in a legal state, just kind of the conversations around it and how we keep it in our home and that sort of thing.
Right.
Obviously safety is a concern too, so we're not going to be, blowing smoke in our daughter's face or anything like that.
So, can you tell me a little bit how you guys still consume responsibly? I mean, I know if I can say, we were
Yes.
taking a few hits of my vape, and you guys traded off like who was with her outside of the room, and then we blew the smoke outside. Obviously,
vaping and edibles have definitely become like more prevalent in their life. Like we're both like pretty heavy flower smokers, so now like our routine is more vape and edible based. But like when we do smoke flower, which still is like daily, you know, we just take a step outside, and it's not like we hide like our weed jar from her. Or like, I mean, it's not like when they're grabs, but like it's just like out, you know, like we're not. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see when we get to that point where like she notices that
it's kind of, you know, it's stored up high. It's childproofed. It's out of reach. Just similar to, you know, the way that your mom or dad, looking back at our childhood, would keep the wine or the spirits or whatever.
Like I feel like we just want to kind of keep it like that. Like it's just a normal.
Yeah, this is like an adult thing.
Yeah. And I was also thinking about like how I do want to like educate her. Like it like. I feel like for me, like we talked about earlier, like I feel like I was like rebelling, you know, and like experimented with other drugs, like out of rebellion, and like to, you know, help with like, you know, just the stress of being a teenager and stuff like that, and
the anxieties.
I feel like if I knew more, and it's like I almost taught myself about like, oh wow, like weed and mushrooms are probably way better for me than like anything at like any other type of like mind altering substance or like drugs that, you know, you can take. So I like, it's like, hey, Willow, like, you know, like cannabis is a great thing to experience at concerts, or, you know, it helps like enhance art, but you still have to have respect for it, you know, just like any other drug or substance, you know.
I feel like my dad is pretty closed off to hearing or learning about the actual benefits of cannabis, because he's turning 71 in like a couple weeks, and my mom has been taking like the salve for her muscles, and she takes a hemp tincture every night now, and she's really open about it, but he's just like, nope, you know, I don't. It's like his generation, I feel like.
Yeah, that's my dad too. He'll literally, my dad will literally sit there and be like, it makes me feel better, but like not do it daily, or like not ask me to like help him out or like find a resource for him.
So weird.
I'm like, so you're admitting that it works and you're having a good time, but you rather like drink a martini or like, you know, do whatever you're doing to deal with like your pain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
One thing that I'm really grateful for, and sort of bridging the gap, kind of being in the middle of you know, parents' generation. My mom is in her late 60s. My dad would be in his later 70s. He passed away 7 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But their perspective and sort of where we are, and then what we kind of are hoping for Willow, I do feel really grateful that, you know, very different from when we were all in our teens. Now things are regulated. They're made to be safe. There are all of these sort of checks and balances in regulation to make it safer for consumers.
Regulation is so important.
So as a mom, like, you know, maybe one day if Willow decides that plant medicine is something of benefit to her, I do have that sort of peace of mind that it's safer than maybe whatever kind of mids or whatever the hell we were all finding in high school and smoking in the woods.
Have you seen they found fentanyl in cannabis in like street market cannabis in Connecticut?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Even more like why regulation
parents'
is
worst
so
nightmare,
important.
you know? So I am grateful for that. And same with all the research and, you know, benefits like for women's health and all different kinds of things like that. That's really inspiring, because I think our parents' generation, obviously there wasn't all that information and research and regulation. It was just, you know,
fear,
prohibition, and like stigma.
One question I wanted to ask that just came up, if there was ever like a problem with Willow's health, or she had like an illness or disease, would you guys consider using cannabis at young ages? And like, what do you say to parents, I guess, who wouldn't?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, we both are open to it. We would obviously consult our doctor and would take their recommendations into account, but it's 100% something we would be open to. And we have family with children, you know, with epilepsy conditions, and
that's kind of what I'm thinking about.
greatly from the use of CBD and, all under the care of a physician, which
Right.
again is what's amazing about all of these legal markets now, is that there is research, and doctors are able to use that, where before it would have been like an ethical issue or consideration for these physicians. So
I think it's cool when that leads to, like, you'll see a lot of companies and like organizations stem from someone like their child was sick and like they saw the benefit of like CBD like completely change their health condition overnight.
I think that's how Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's
I was
Web.
thinking of them.
Yep.
They
I think
immediately come
there's
to
like this
mind.
company
there's a
Mont
bunch.
Kush in Vermont, and there's a bunch, and what's crazy is there's so many people I work with in the industry, and I didn't realize like that's a story, and like I try to like get that out of people when we like first talk to them and stuff, and it's wild how like much it can help. But then there's situations where like you do need to take it past cannabis and like explore other options. But I feel like it's a way safer and more natural alternative to just any type of pill or like random synthetic. If you have a natural way to help something, alleviate something, like why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah. So I have one question, well, especially from the law perspective, but also marketing and just all cannabis. What do you guys think about the like childproof packaging laws and how they're kind of ever changing and really hard for companies to, first of all, have the money for all of this like different packaging and stuff like that? And do you think it's like too severe, not strict enough? Just any takes.
I mean, I feel like there needs to be something that is like in place, and I deal with companies all the time who are like navigating those waters, and each state is different. There's different requirements, and it gets pretty pricey when you have to involve that into like a packaging design or, factoring in buying like 30,000 units or something like that.
Yeah.
But as a parent, I haven't had it. I guess I haven't had that experience, but like I do feel like it's more on the parents to just like keep things safe.
Right, even if it's like, childproof, it shouldn't just be out.
Yeah, like if my stuff's childproof, it's gonna be like not out for anyone to grab, with kids around or anything like that.
So true.
So it's like,
I understand from the liability, the legal aspect, the necessity for it, and why governing bodies would want that, and that would be a really important kind of consideration for them, and also for companies to protect themselves and their consumers, and trickle down like to their children. I would love to see all of that sort of considered. I would really love to see packaging go in a more sustainable direction, because that is one of the sort of dark underbellies of this amazing industry.
I feel like you're right. Like I feel like that's more important because like with alcohol and tobacco, like you don't see any. There's no crazy
Where's all the childproof stuff with
way
that?
Way more dangerous too. Like
honestly, I struggle with the childproofing. John always has to help me open things.
Right, that's the thing. I feel like the kids are better at getting these things open anyway, probably than adults. But have you had any interactions with people who are like, find out what you do for a living or find out that you consume and are just not interested in having a play date or something like that?
Not yet.
Not
just
yet.
hang with
Everyone's been pretty, like we only have like one little spot in our house that has like our weed stuff. And all the parents and like kids, it's just been like neighbors really that have been over. Like we haven't changed anything around, but I feel like that's going to evolve as like the kids get older.
That hasn't happened yet as parents, and I don't know if that is because of where we live or I don't know, but we've got a lot of neighbors who have had children around the same age as Willow.
Nice.
And she's hung out with them. And
do they consume too?
It's kind of half and half.
When do you ask? Like
weed.
How soon into like
the hang?
Like it's especially because John's not drinking.
Well, John really breaks the ice. I mean, people are always kind of interested.
John and I are similar in that way.
A lot of people are interested in knowing what John does for a living, and then that kind of is a great segue into the conversation. And then maybe John is offering to share whatever he has.
Here's some products.
Icebreaker. And a lot of times people will just if they decline, it's very polite and just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm good, but thanks for offering.
Yeah.
And then there are a lot of parents that consume as well. So we do have a lot of friends that we can, hang out, go on a hike or go snowboarding or whatever, and, partake a little bit and just have a great day, enjoy and enhance the experience.
Nice.
Nice.
But are you ever worried about bringing it up, I guess? Or would you, I guess more so.
I feel like I'd be more worried if I like lived somewhere different.
Right.
And also if I like didn't, like, it is easier because I work in the industry. Like, what's someone gonna say? Like, it's my job.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if you don't like it, like, I guess we can't be friends. Like,
Move to Kansas. I don't know. Yes.
So
but like,
true.
if we lived somewhere else, like, like if we moved back to Jersey or something like that, it'd probably be like a whole different dynamic. And even like, I guess I'm thinking in terms of like Allison's, like at like her mom's house, like when like our nieces and nephews come by, like we don't like have weed stuff out. Like the parents would be like pretty upset about like that if it was like even if it was just around in a safe area,
There is sort of a difference in attitude, I think. We're really lucky to live here in Colorado in such a mature market where, the culture has really changed a lot over the past 10 years, I want to say.
Yeah.
Totally. The
Has it been
stigma's
10
almost
years?
gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And, even spanning through generations, and everybody's kind of cool with it, older, younger, where maybe like places where there's still a little bit of fear of doing something illegal or getting in trouble. People might not be as open and authentic about their use. And I guess that's reflected in John and I's attitude and approach to other people too. We kind of just are who we are and present ourselves that way.
I think we're just always respectable. Like we'll always be the ones to like we're not just gonna like fight someone about our weed stuff or something like that.
Yeah. You'll just be like, great, we agree to disagree.
I respect everyone's
Let's
like,
go over here now.
Yeah, but I
You guys
get
are
what you're getting
very
at, though.
respectful.
I feel maybe I have a little more reservation than John, and part of it might be being a mom, being a woman, like mom shaming. People are quick to
have you seen that a lot, like on the internet or people that have you heard stories?
Yeah, I guess I have heard stories.
Well, I feel like you've also been like hesitant to like do certain things because of that, and it's like it like opened my eyes up a bit more. Like I didn't think it. Like, you try to consider everything as a dad of like, because the moms go through so much.
Right. 10 times worse.
And then I'm not even thinking about like the guilt or like the shaming that can happen to like moms after. Like once that crossed my mind, I was like, whoa, it's wild. Like add another thing to like just being a female and like
right.
Like the difficulties.
Is we're gonna get backlash like 8 times worse than anything else.
I'm sitting here just like hitting bongs and posting them on my Instagram and like not even thinking twice about it,
But if it was Allison, people would be like, "Where's your kid?
Like,
who's watching your kid?
Are you breastfeeding? Even though it's none of my business at all." Like,
oh my god!
Wow.
People go nuts.
Even going back to pregnancy, one of the things that I'm really grateful for being in a great community of women, they really welcomed me into sorry about that.
No, we're good.
But just kind of the wisdom that's passed on by word of mouth, because there aren't like books about cannabis and pregnancy or cannabis and parenting or breastfeeding or any of those things. So it all just was sort of passed down by other women who've been through it or who have used as moms or pregnancy or postpartum, whatever, to help with any kind of ailments or symptoms or just, general chill vibes and taking care of themselves. So that was something that I did feel a little bit of like reservation kind of being super open about. Because
can I
judgment.
ask you? But you don't have to share if you still because I would be like, I would still consume.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even know if I want kids. So like, but if you don't want to share, I understand because it's such a sensitive.
Yeah. No, I feel comfortable sharing. So my first trimester of pregnancy was pretty rough, which happens often to women. A lot of nausea, sickness. I like literally could not even drink water without getting sick.
Yeah,
it was pretty rough. A lot of women have great first trimesters. Good for them. That wasn't the case for me. So I needed cannabis. Like,
Yeah.
I needed to be able to drink water and to eat food to be able to like sustain my body and everything that it was going through.
And THC helps so much with
and
nausea.
it helped a lot. Yeah. And luckily, you know, we have access to a lot of different options. So we were going for more like CBD with a pairing of THC, like tincture. Yeah,
It's
we
like
were doing
gummies,
like tinctures and Gatorade, like anything to just like get some in my body so that
where
I
you're
could
not,
have
like,
any kind of
smoking.
appetite. Yeah, exactly. And I did sort of lean more towards like topicals and edibles and tinctures and teas,
Nice.
which amazing to have like accessibility to great products and all of those types of realms. But yeah, definitely did like take a step back from smoking, which I love.
And I feel
to
like
smoke
you,
flowers.
I feel like you just like
And
cut
babes.
it out though for like that, like
Yeah, so really
second and
once I got
third,
through
she
that
was, like,
first
kinda just, like,
trimester, I
over
kind
it.
of was okay.
Yeah.
But it was honestly crucial to like my health and, you know, overall the health of my pregnancy to
And
be
easing
able to
into the
eat.
pregnancy.
Yes. And then once I kind of hit the 12-week mark, I was fine.
But did you continue to use CBD and hemp stuff?
Yeah, CBD.
Just took out the psychoactive kind of component.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, especially once you like were just uncomfortable, then it was like CBD massages and like things like
Yeah, which was and it was you know, truthfully like a discussion that I had with my doctor, and I again really grateful to have providers that are knowledgeable about the plan and open to it and willing to give great advice. You know, women are taking like SSRIs while they're pregnant, and they're taking other like pharmaceutical things.
Yeah.
And there's just
I'm on an SSRI. It's like, I don't know what I would do. Like, I couldn't stop taking that if I got pregnant.
Yeah. So there's just their outlook was kind of balancing the risk and the reward. And, you know, not being able to eat or drink water was a pretty significant risk. And using a little bit of THC and CBD to help cure that ailment, that was, my doctor saw that as a benefit to me. And I agreed. And that was our like course of dealing. So I think that that's kind of with anything. That's how like OBGYNs are looking at it. Like and grateful to, you know, this was a primarily female dominant practice that I was seeing. So they really valued the mom. And
well, do you think women are scared to even bring it up with their doctor or OBGYN for fear that I would be. I would just be like, well, if I need this.
In certain states, like if you bring something like that up, like they could technically like
mandatory report.
Child Protective Services.
Yeah, I did hear stories about that.
Even in Colorado,
awful.
like we heard people were like, you should be careful. Or
oh my God. Like what drugs, I guess, did you kind of like stop using, I guess, when you became parents? Because I know you said we feel the same way that cannabis and mushrooms are like,
I mean, I've experimented with like most drugs, you know.
Because acid is pretty big in Colorado.
Like acid and like MDMA, you know, things along those lines. And I haven't done any of those drugs since I've been a parent. You know, it's literally just been.
And you don't care to, right?
Well, yeah, and again, like I think that's because I stopped drinking too. Like it was like the only time I was really doing
drinking would lead to the other drugs.
Yeah, totally. And again, like I'm like such a person who hates cigarettes. Yeah, but like. Get like a couple of $15 cocktails with me, and I'm like out smoking a cigarette with
lowers
like you know
those inhibitions,
like
Cruella de Vil.
Yeah. So and I'm happy to admit that and say that because like I want other people to hear that too.
Yes,
because you don't realize that it's like these small. Like we talk about addiction, but it's like so many things in their life are addicting, like social media, sugar. You know, like
those are my top two.
And we have all these pressures on us constantly that just aren't normal or natural. So you don't realize when you cut out just these small little things or make this like small adjustment to your routine and do it consistently, it really does kind of affect everything else in your life, and then it turns that into more long term.
Yeah, I think we had really, and kind of as a side note, John and I have been together for
Oh my God, I was like,
I think 14 years.
Yeah, 14 years. Good job.
So-
I was like, am I supposed to answer? Is this
I was like, do neither of them know?
It's been that long where it's
Good
like,
job. So we were 18, 19, we were in college and we did go through like an experimentation phase, and I'm really grateful. And luckily we were always in safe spaces and everything kind of worked out. But I'm grateful that we had that time. We were always really kind of interested in psychology, enhancing musical and art experiences, attending music festivals, art galleries, those types of things, and that community. So I'm grateful that John and I did experiment and we're able to do that. And now, we're just in a different season of our life.
Right.
Where
You've been through so many stages together and you
we've tried a lot of things and we found what really seems to work for us. Mentally, physically, emotionally, as a couple, as individuals, separately. And weed and mushrooms are the best.
Yeah.
It's that's always kind of the conclusion. And I don't know, I feel like everyone kind of has their own relationship with like everything and going through that like phase in their life. I feel like that phase for like Willow and the youth now is going to be so different because our phase, even though we were like had a great time and learned so much about ourselves and the world and like what we love and enjoy, that was still like coming out of that rebellion, like that's stemming from that rebellion and growing up in the environments we grew up in, whether it was family or just local or friends, and like our friends' parents talking about how bad cannabis is or whatever. Where now it's like, is Willow gonna have a rebellion phase, or is she gonna go into like, if I microdose when I go to this concert, like, I can probably go rock climbing tomorrow and squeeze in like this activity, is she going to be analytically looking at it like that?
Oh my
kind of like how
gosh,
I look at it now, like, all right, I'm going to I feel like shit, so I'm going to take an edible,
We did also have, John and I both graduated from Rutgers University in New Jersey, in New Brunswick. It's right outside of New York City. And it's a research-based university. There was a big presence with the Students for Sensible Drug Policy.
Nice.
So we did kind of have access to information.
That's awesome.
High Times was on campus. We would go to a couple panel discussions.
That's so cool.
It was really great. And I feel like that just kind of opened our eyes to just sort of seeing those organizations and groups on campus in like an academic intellectual environment, like sharing real facts and information, and just kind of promoting the safe use of things.
And having a community that you are like already understands you,
right? And
being on the forefront of so much new research and new information on.
I did not have this at my college in Indiana.
There's like cannabis courses now. Like I speak at like my internship program at Puff Creative started from me speaking at Denver University to the marijuana business class. And now I have, students from all over the country reaching out to me from their cannabis business courses to like join our internship program.
Oh my gosh.
That's so cool.
It's wild.
John, that's so cool.
But it's just
it's really full circle.
Who would have thought I never in my lifetime would have thought that I'd be having this conversation. It's kind of wild when you really think about it. Especially like where I'm from. Like, again, when I was 13, like my mom cried when she, found out I like was smoking weed, and now we smoke with my mom. Like, it's so wild. Like, and she's super supportive, and it's so cool seeing like
they're really proud of John and what he does, and all the information.
I'm gonna cry.
It's very sweet. You should have saw his dad rocking his Powered by Plants Puff Creative t-shirt. It's the cutest.
That's
thing.
my favorite tea. I love it.
It's great, right?
Wow. That is one of the cool things about being a parent is you kind of get the opportunity, like, yes, you have all this responsibility and you're caring for, a human life, and there is all this like, there's the heaviness to that, but in the same right, it gives you this allowability to just kind of embrace your inner child and play and do fun things and see the world sort of through her eyes.
Are you both able to work from home and like spend time with her during the day?
So
and that
we're
sort of thing?
really lucky. We both work from home
That's
right
great.
now, and it's
Very lucky.
I saw that. You're such a good mom, licking off the pacifier to get it clean.
but yeah, we both work from home, and up until 6 months, we were just doing it all ourselves, and now we have a nanny come by twice a week to help.
That's what my
Nice.
sister does, actually.
But it's still like kind of, especially like right now at the holidays, it's kind of like rough because like everything.
Well, childcare's so expensive.
It's so
too.
expensive. It's crazy.
And there's, COVID considerations.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't
So
imagine.
I am grateful that I am able to physically be near her every day. And yes, having extra help has been awesome as, an attorney, working mom.
You got things to do.
Yeah. And it is distracting sometimes,
yeah.
she's crying in the other room or,
Well, especially now because she's like moving around and like,
Yeah.
like at this age, like they just see the wrong thing in the room and like go to that.
Right,
Like
yeah.
the electric outlet, the glass,
We've seen it a couple times
she's
today.
been-
Yeah.
I've been chasing her around the podcast room. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
But
we're very grateful we can work from home and we have that flexibility. So we're all together a lot. And it's sort of like I feel like this new phase of mom has sort of emerged from COVID times. And in a lot of ways, it's been beneficial because it's become more flexible for moms, working parents, anyone that's kind of a caregiver for a child.
Yeah.
But also, it's tough. It's hard we don't have that like separation of work and home.
Yeah.
As we once
They're blending
did.
together.
They're blending, and finding balance can be a little bit more challenging, but
Totally.
we're working on it day by day.
Yeah, we're grateful. I mean, think about my parents and so many of my friends' parents. Like they wake up at like 5 a.m. and like catch the train into the city and then like be gone the whole day and then get back at 6 p.m. And it's like, it's a pretty big chunk of the day, like not seeing your kid 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's like, so many people are in a situation, that's the world we live in. So even when it gets tough, I'm like grateful that like we're there and like able to see really important moments happen and like, get her on the routine and teach her things and like, stuff like that.
This has been so great. Wait, I have to ask the question I've been trying to ask people, but I forget. The question I try to ask all my guests is, besides a legal older Willow, who would you consume with, if it could be anyone dead or alive, and why?
Ooh, wow.
And what would you consume between like mushrooms, cannabis?
So this is
or,
like dream blunt rotation?
Yeah. Yes. There it is.
Ooh. Rihanna immediately popped into my
Yes.
mind.
Oh my God. Yes. Did you see she's apparently pregnant?
Yes.
Congrats, Rihanna.
Yes. Very excited for her.
Yeah. I know you're listening. Oh, but I feel like for you, would it be the Fish band or something?
Trey?
Oh yeah, we are.
I was gonna think someone who's dead. Like I almost would say I would love to do mushrooms with like Jerry Garcia or Jimi Hendrix maybe.
Wow.
And just
Nice.
like I would love to pick their brain on like what their real goals and like ambitions were and like
Nice.
yeah.
That's cool. That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's so many musicians that just aren't alive now that
Yeah.
we're trying to get to the point where we're at now. And I'd love to hear like what their long-term visions were, or if they could imagine it being like this, like normally talking about mushroom use and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm also thinking like Lady Gaga. That would be
Oh.
she smokes weed too. That would be
Yes.
fun. Maybe have a little jam sesh. Rihanna, Lady Gaga.
Oh my gosh,
Come over to our
yes.
jam space. Let's have a blunt sesh and a jam
I
sesh.
definitely want to smoke a blunt with Rihanna.
Yeah.
That's like top
Life
10
goal.
life goals. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming on, Allison and John.
Yeah, this was great having you guys.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much, and love being here.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Wait, do you want to tell us where they can find you? Well, at Puff Creative is John's cannabis agency, but it's PUFCREATIV.
Yep.
Got it.
Nice.
And Alison, are you starting your new firm? Can we say
Yes,
that?
I don't have social set up yet, but yeah, at Penny Nichols is my Instagram and my Twitter handle. I tweet about cannabis, music, politics.
You got a good following on Twitter. She's
Yeah.
active, ladies and gentlemen.
At me, I
Yes.
guess.
And at John Shute.
Yep,
Just
on
spelled
everything.
on
Yeah.
everything. And I'll link it in the show notes and everything too.
Awesome. So great to be here with you guys.
Yay.
Thank you so
And I
much.
guess the final, oh my God, her little hand just touched my toe. I love it. Hi, cutie. Okay, well, final thing is, I guess you can be a good parent and still get high.
Yeah, totally.
Right? I feel like that's got to be the final
Yeah.
ending note.
Yep.
It's true.
Parenting 101.
And I would go so far as to say as cannabis can make you a better parent if you use it in
I
the
would
right
too.
ways.
100%.
But I'm
agree.
also not a parent, so
Yeah.
I totally
It makes
agree.
you a great aunt, clearly.
thanks. Well, love you guys, and thank you everyone for listening. Stay high.